Hello, it's your girl Apostle Veryl, and today I want to encourage somebody who's been called to global ministry. If you're like me, you have cried out for other countries, you have a burning in your belly to go to places, whether it be third world, Japan, China, Jamaica, Trinidad, Antigua, but you know that God has called you globally, but you don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know how it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, but there's an unction inside of you to go. If that is you and God has called you to preach, prophesy, pray for, lay hands on the sick in other places, other land, I want to encourage you today. When I got that call years ago, I wasn't in ministry. I had not been ordained, had not been licensed. And God kept speaking to me about this global mandate on my life. And I said, well, how, God? And then he reminded me in Jeremiah 1:5, baby, I made you from your mother's womb. I called you and anointed you and had a purpose for you from your mother's womb. Don't ask me how, just flow with me and trust me. So God gave me a prophetic vision, and he had me write down all these countries and all these places. And so what I did at that time was I took it to my bishop at that time. I said, I got a prophecy for you. And he looked at it, he said, daughter, it's not finished yet. Go ahead and finish writing on it. And I got very discouraged because I felt like he didn't receive the prophecy. And God said, well, guess what? It ain't for him. It's for you. So you go ahead and you read that prophecy and you continue to write down as I show you and give you insight as to where you are going. I said, oh my God, Lord, I'm not a pastor. I'm not an elder. I'm not even a missionary. So how can this be? But I was obedient. Now, lo and behold, I am an apostle. And Lord knows I didn't know I was going there. But God told me I was a global apostle who was given a bold message to move out and to speak with fire, speak as a trumpet sound, and to prepare his house. And I said, oh my goodness, God. So then those countries started really rising up. He said, but in order to be called globally, there are some global things that must be done. You must have a global sound. You must have a global prayer life. You must have a global preaching life. Even if you're preaching in Washington, D.C. at Matthew 6:33 Global Ministries, you're releasing out a word globally, not just for that area, but globally. Everything about you is globally. God changed the way I like to eat. Even God changed my little style, so it's universal. But God was preparing me for that where he was taking me. And in the meantime, God started speaking inanimate objects to me to release in the house at Matthew 6:33 Global Ministry or any kingdom ministry I am a part of. So therefore, we have global flags all over the building. We have things that represent where I have been and where the church is going. And God said to do that because it would release out, my God, a global message, even when they walk in the building. And so there were some other things that God put in my heart, put in my spirit, and things that I don't even have the money to get, don't know when God is going to do it. I'm praying that God bless me, and I know he will. God had told me to get some global instruments, and I just happened to walk in the season where that instrument could be manifested. One of them could. And I have been carrying in my belly this instrument that God said needed to be released out in the house at Matthew 6:33 Global Ministries. But yet he gave it to me before I even founded that church that I never thought that would even come to be. So God said those instruments are needed wherever you go because they're a part of releasing the global sound with the global message. So I got to send some global international people to play the instruments. They got to have global worship. They got to understand how to worship through over top of seas and oceans and countries and demographical strongholds. So I said, my goodness, God. So I went to Trinidad recently, and I've been carrying in my belly this instrument. I'm going to show it to you. I was going to save it for church on Sunday, but for those of you all who know what it is, here it is. Yes, it is a steel pan. Now, I don't know how to play it, and I don't know nobody who can play it. But I know that God is faithful, and if he had me buy it, it's for a reason. So the manifestation of something he put in my belly years ago is coming to pass. So I want to encourage somebody, if you are called to do global ministry, don't question God as to how you'll get there. Don't question him as to where the money's coming from. Just move forward and watch him do it. This is your girl, Apostle Veryl Howard. Know that I love you and be global, kingdom minded. Bye-bye.